Don't turn me into what I'm not. I have to be me 24.
Good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening to you, to you, to you, to you two, to you two over there in the kitchen. Yeah, I know you're not watching, but you're listening. Definitely. This is Opening a Door coming to you live from Band Studios, Mdantsane, East London, South Africa, in the Eastern Cape. Yeah, baby. Yeah, we are back with a bang. I don't know where have you been. You've been here. If you've been watching us uploading all of those topical, political topics, yeah, man, you would like to know when people are talking about the left and the right, what do they mean when it comes to politics? Yet tonight I got you some splendid, very, very nice and very epic show that has a mixture of some music. Yeah, man, I'm back with a bang. This is Upanigadono. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
No, never gonna stop. No, no.
We're never gonna stop. Nope, nope, nope. Not at all. Not at all. Not tonight. Not today. Not in any other day. Yes. Have you ever wondered what do people consider before they vote? That's what we are going to be talking about today. Nothing else but that. So yeah, man, with a bit of music there and there, now and again. But then again, I want you to take a seat. If you want, you can take a notepad and make some notes. But don't worry, this is always going to be here online. So yeah, man, if you're coming across this, please do what do they say? The culture, the culture, the culture. We all say like, share, comment, subscribe, but I only say please, 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 please do comment down below if you find this content interesting or you find it very dry, you want to put some marinade in it, please do comment. Do suggest what is that we need, what seasoning, what type of seasoning do we need in order for our content to be spicy. But nonetheless, we are not here for spicy news, but we are here for facts, we are here for knowledge, we are here for education, we are here to empower, right? We're here to uplift, we're here to inspire. All right. So yeah, man, you've heard left, right. A lot of people been saying these things, they've been talking, but you have no idea what it means. But today I am here to unfold or to unpack that for you. So we have, in general politics, we have the left and the right. Basically, we have the right and the left. So yeah, what does this mean? This actually is based on values. It's not like a human being may not have all of these values or may not value all of these aspects of life that affect people. But in other people, when it comes to these things, there are those that are more important than the others. Let me talk. Let me just give you some of the values here. The left wing would be focusing on equality, on government programs. You know, the government is there to look after the people, to provide for the people, and they could also look at the social progress. progressiveness. So that's what the left does basically. When it says they are focusing on equality, they are basically focusing on things such as human rights, right? And that everyone has a similar chance and they must have similar resources as well. So it involves higher taxes so that those who are rich can be heavily taxed, and then their income or their life standard can be lowered so that it complements the one who is not having money or is not having a business. So just kind of like making people to be equal in that sense as well, right? And this is done by the government intervention as well. And also, now how does the government empower this one who is not empowered or who did not have inheritance or who did not have the better chance in life or who did not work so that they can have something in their plate, but rather depends on the government. So the government does this, tax this one, and then after they taxing this one, they'll give money to this one so that this one can also have a better chance in living life and then having better life opportunities and enjoying life like they've worked for it, just like this one over this side. You know what I mean? So this one, if they go out and this one is like, I government, I need money to go out too. So the government is like, okay, let me go tax this one so that I can give you money to go out as well in a form of grant. I mean, like it's a good thing because the government is looking after the ones that are marginalized, the ones that were previously disadvantaged, the ones that cannot really do better for themselves. But really, the government is there for them, like in instances of providing equal rights for all groups, equal fairness. So they need to be in a place also in the economy, you know what I mean, whereby they will be provided with like services such as proper health care, proper education, all of these welfare services, you know, by the government for the people, for all of those who are struggling, right? And also there's social, that's also impacts in social progressiveness, whereby the left wing ideas support social changes, you know, such as coming from the in South Africa context, coming from the era of apartheid, coming from the era of colonialism in the African context as well. So worldwide, we know that we have faced that. So yeah, when it comes to the left wing, those are the people who are actually advocating for equality and change, and you know, trying to modernize everything and saying everyone has a right to do whatever they want to do. They have a right to become whoever they feel like being, even if they were born a certain way and then they just decide to be a certain way. No one has a right to stop them from practicing that particular feeling. So that's that's the left for you. And then some other people will be like, okay, then the right, what does the right do? Does the right oppose most of the things or oppose everything that the left believes in, such as equality? I wouldn't really say the right oppose equality, but opposes the way that the left advocates for equality. It sometimes feels like they are infringing on the freedom of the right people, which are called the conservatives, because they kind of feel like they work for whatever they have, and then for it's really unfair for the government, or yes, for the government to tax them heavily just to pay these other guys, you know, just to give these other guys money for free. And yeah, the government is always sneaking around. How are they doing their business and all that? It feels like they don't really have the freedom that is really being preached by democracy. you know. So the right wing is kind of like, hey man, government stay away, please don't text me. So all of those things, it's like they emphasizing individual responsibility and freedom. Like I am free individually, I don't need anyone to tell me what to do. Also, you are also free and in responsibility. You have to be responsible for your life as anyone who's living as a human being. So also they're like, okay, government, please limit your involvement into my business generally. So meaning that they don't want regulations, they don't want heavy tax, they don't like the government nationalizing private entities. You know, all of these things that the government is doing, they don't want the government to drive the economy because they believe they do drive the economy themselves. Or the government that is the right wing believes that the private entity drives the economy. Do you understand? So they also very much value traditional values, um, whereby they are saying a wife is a wife, and then most of the time they support housewives and hardworking men, and wives being treated as queens, and women being treated as soft people, and men should be hard, and men and women are not really equal in that sense because the nature doesn't really say so. Or yes, if you can look across all the animal kingdom, you'll see that there is a difference between the two sexes. So that's what that the right wing believe. They believe that human beings are different. A man is a man and a woman is a woman. All of those things. So yeah, man, that is just it for the summary, right? So left is more about equality, more about government help, and more about social progressiveness. And the right is like, we want freedom. We want to be free to do whatever we want, and everyone is free to be responsible for themselves. And the government, please, less intervention. Don't touch our business. And also, they value traditional ways of life, going to church, believing in Jesus, believing in God, and all those things. So each side has ideas for how to create a better society, but they differ in their methods and beliefs. So, and this is also their way of governing. These political parties, they follow these fundamental values into shaping their principles that they may follow, so that they will be having a blueprint on what to fight for. So that is also one of the things that their vote looks at when they want to do what, to decide on who to vote for. They look at these values, and then if you value more equality, then that means you may be falling or being aligned with the left political parties, and then you may align yourselves with those parties, and obviously and somehow you may be attached or attracted to their policies because their policies are shaped by these values. So, getting into a little bit depth or deeper look on how left and right perceive approaches that are complex in such as social issues, human rights, religion, and economic impacts. So these positions reflect common viewpoints, but they may vary within each political side. So all of these things, the complex social issues, human rights, religion, and economic impact. So let us zoom into migration. How does the left wing look into migration? How does the right wing perceive migration? So the left wing basically is kind of like, when it comes to migration, they are like, okay, social and human rights emphasizes the importance of human rights for migration. okanye human rights for migrants, right? And it views migration as a way of asylum seeking to enrich cultures and economies. They also believe in protecting refugees and creating inclusive societies. If we understand where does migration come from or what causes migration, there are many factors. I'm just going to mention few. To mention few would be one of the reasons why people would migrate is better opportunities in other countries. That's the main reason they are looking for greener pastures. But some other times people be like, let me just go to a country that has better policies than this one. Others they'll be going for that. Others will be like it's kind of like looking for what is better than what you have. So that's what you would migrate for. So in many instances, you'll find that a lot of people are being put under pressure or under no choice position, whereby they'll be having to, they will they have to, they must move away from their country and look for a better place, seek for asylum in the neighboring countries if they can, if those neighboring countries are also safe, or if they are, it's more like your country becomes a place that is no longer conducive for a life, for a human being to live in, and then you just decide to go find asylum um, in the next place, in the neighboring country or something like that. So yeah, man, it's not because people just feel like going to invade other people's countries because those countries are doing bad. No, it's because in their country sometimes things are very difficult. It's so hard that they can't find a way of living. They can't find life, and then they end up like looking for a better place to stay. You know what I mean, man? So, with that being said, let us move on to another social issue that may also. Oh yeah, the left values that okay, it's fine. It's for the left. It is fine for people to migrate to other countries, right? And economies in economics now they see migration as a beneficial factor, often filling gaps in the labor market, right? Contributing to economic growth, supporting welfare assistance to help migrants integrate. So the leftists believe that it is migration is also good for economics, right? And then when it comes to religion and culture, uh, leftists they advocate for tolerance. Like, okay, these people are coming from these other countries with different religions, but we need to tolerate these religions. You know what I mean? We need to be having that sense of multiculturalism. You know, we need to believe in differences. We need to embrace differences. Believe that we have different faiths and cultures. We can also coexist, and in that sense we can have a strengthened society. So yeah, the leftists believe in that so much so that they say bring them on, people are running, bring them on, we're gonna hire them here, bring them on, we're gonna help them here. It's like, hey man, we don't have enough jobs for our own citizens. I know, man, we'll see about that. Just bring these people here. These citizens, they want a proper minimum wage, and these immigrants they won't be like, hey, you give me 20 bucks, I don't want 50 bucks, I want 50. But South Africans will be like, you give me 20, I deserve 100, man. So yeah, so yeah, man, let us look at the right. What are the rights? What is the right wing saying about migration? Like they also value social and human rights. So they are actually saying this needs a stronger regulations to ensure that safety and national security. You know, we're not bringing in people that are ex-cons. from their countries or running away from cases, like running away from being arrested, stuff like that. So we must prioritize national identity, right, and favor restricting migration, and so that we can preserve our cultures. We don't want to mix up with other people because that's what happens at the end of the day. When people come here, they end up having relationships with the people and then ending up mixing up the cultures. I don't know why we preserve the cultures though. For what? I don't know. But that's what the right wing says. Like, no, man, no mixed races. We don't want to mix races. Don't want to mix cultures. Don't want to mix. We're fine. We're fine, man. Comes to economics, they were like, migration is really a problem because it puts a strain on public resources. Now we have to give more people public resources. That means more tax to us. This affects the jobs of the citizens, you know. And the citizens won't be empowered. So this welfare support of my immigrants is really draining. So these guys, they need to sustain themselves. But nonetheless, this also adds in religion and cultural complexity. You know what I mean? Because this also tends to make what is this called? Mix mesh or mix, I don't know, something like that. Mincemeat. That's what happens to religion and culture, which is that people lose themselves. They forget what is to be a Christian. They forget what is to be an African. They mix these things like Africans and Christians. Christianity and Africanism can work together. Now, things like that were frowned upon in the Bible, such as Sodom and Gomorrah, because now the religion is mixing. It's okay now. It's okay to have a pastor who was once a woman. Also, we look at the termination of babies before they are born. Abortion. What does the left say about abortion? And what does the right say about abortion? The left, you know, is all about social and human rights. They strongly support that everyone has a right to choose for their bodies, what happens with their bodies. So it's fundamentally a personal freedom. That's when you can hear the left is talking about personal freedom and individuality. When it comes to abortion, it's up to a person to do what they feel like doing with their bodies. But then they also believe that they should access safe medical procedures as a public priority, that children should go for abortion and anyone who feels like aborting, because abortion really, man, is a good is a solution to many other problems, because there are a lot of factors that lead up to abortion. Someone may get raped. I don't know, there's this crime called what? When a child is being raped by an uncle, you know, those things really need abortion. Someone goes out at night, they sleep with somebody that they didn't mean to sleep with, they wake up in the morning, they are pregnant. They're bound to do abortion so that they can do the same mistake again next week. They were using a condom and then it bursts, and then she's pregnant. They're bound to go for abortion because they don't want to have that mistake child. the broken condom child. When they tell the story to the child, Mama, how was I born? Ask your father. And your father says, if the father is going to be there, because when the condom bursts, the father will run away because of that sound of the condom. Probably the father is thinking the mother had something that cut the condom, so he doesn't want to witness that again. And he will run away. And then the mother is bound to go for abortion because she didn't plan the child. Even though there is this thing called family planning, they can go for contraceptives. Other people, they find themselves pregnant without planning, but they decide later on, no man, I don't need this child. They can go for abortion, and the leftists are saying it's all fine for that, and the government should assist in terminating these unborn innocent souls. Religion and culture, what are the leftists saying when it comes to abortion? We are having a religious and cultural leftists as well. You know, the revolutionists, people who are advocating for change and progressiveness. As much as religion may be having a tough time when it comes to deciding on this point, because it talks about termination of life, and termination of life means taking away life, and that is against one of the commandments, 10 commandments. The 10 commandments, one of the 10 commandments is saying, do not take away life. But the leftists, even though they are in church, they are pastors, they also say it's okay, go for abortion if you decide to do that as an individual and you feel strongly that you have had a chat with your God and made God understand that you want to take the life that He had given you away. So if God understands, then you can do that. Economically, what does abortion do? The leftists would really support public funding for these reproductive health services to ensure access, to ensure free access for all, regardless of financial status. So you, as a child, a 13-year-old child, you want to have contraceptives, you can go for them. But in this case, you found yourself, since you were fooling around with your little boyfriend, and then you find yourself pregnant. But don't worry, my child, you can go to the clinic. The nurses will help you there, terminate that baby so that you can continue with your reckless behavior. But that's what the left is advocating for. But now let us have a zoom and a very closer look to what the right wing says about abortion. Generally, they prioritize the rights of humans, all form of humans, all form of human beings, even the unborn. They may have a right to life. So these guys advocate for stricter abortion laws. They also believe that life begins at the conception, and often sees abortion as normally wrong, as your conscience and your human mind is telling you that abortion is wrong. So let's move on to religion and culture. Does not talk much about that. That's how they are saying it. They're saying abortion is wrong. Those are the right wing. I don't know what you think. You don't have to be a right wing. You don't have to be a left wing, but you know something about this. Religion and culture, many on the right, they draw from religious teaching that men Abortion is taking life away, and we all know that it's against God's laws. So, what is it that we need to talk about? Culturally, this is just putting an end to a ethnicity, a certain ethnicity, or putting an end to human race, because more abortion, less life. Economically, there's no need to fund abortion. People who find themselves in need of aborting, they should do that in their own expense. That's what the right wing is saying. So yeah, man, let's move on to a more sensitive matter that get a lot of people censored. But yeah, man, we're just teaching about the left wing and the right wing. This is not my opinion or anything. It's just an information that I have that I want to use so that I can teach you, so that you decide when you want to go and vote. You decide which side, which wing you are, which political party aligns with your beliefs. So I'm just gonna go down answering all the questions that you may be having about all of these things, such as the following: same-sex marriage. What does the left wing say about same-sex marriage? Homo, what? Same. Socially and these guys, they say equality is important. Doesn't matter who is who, what they prefer. They are equal. They are human beings. So they have a right to same sex. They have to marry whoever they want to marry, and even legally. So it needs to be legally recognized and protected. So what are they actually saying when it comes to religion or the religious people of who are the lefties? They be like, why not? Let us support, man, because we don't want to separate religions here. This is a civil matter. Rather, we should not really mind it much as the lefties. We just welcome anyone who wants to be in the church of God. Anyways, we are all children of God. We are all one and equal in the eye of the Lord. Therefore, it doesn't matter who is attracting you sexually, same sex or not. That's what the left wing is saying. Economically, same sex marriage does benefit the economy by increasing household stability and consumption. You know, the same sex households whereby they won't have a lot of children to support, but these households will have a lot of money to spare and use in the economy, and they'll get taxed because they don't have children to feed. They will have a lot of money to spare so that the government can tax them. So the government is like, it's fine, man, because these guys, they have a stable household and they are financial expenditures very well. So let us go to see what are the right people saying. The right wing people are saying. What are they saying about same-sex marriage? Some right wing, they view opposite same-sex marriage. They oppose it in normal grounds. They view it as traditionally inappropriate, as because traditionally there's a man and there's a woman, and this is just against nature. See, when it comes to religion and culture, this is like teaching that marriage is no longer sacred now. It's no longer a sacred union between two different sexes that are meant to be together so that they can create more human beings. But now it is rather seen as just a choice that a person can make and be like, "Ah, I choose not to make babies, but I was made by my parents. I was once a baby." And they made a point that I grow up safe and protected, but I don't want to do that. I don't want to take that responsibility. So that's what the right wing see it. They like, you guys are running away from responsibilities. But economically, traditional families are the best foundation for a society. Now, changing marriage laws could affect the cultural stability. We don't want to see that happening. That's what the right people are saying. Modernity and culture. What is the left saying about that? They embrace modern values like gender equality, racial equality, freedom of expression, often favoring progressive policies that challenge traditional norms because they are all about evolution. Evolutionalists. Remember, when it comes to religion and culture, these guys they believe that in cultural evolution is something that is very important. They're also advocating for society that adapts in new knowledge and diverse perspectives. We don't have to be stagnant into the old beliefs as ancestral beliefs and how we used to be. Life is changing, man. We have to change as well. Modernity is seen as a driver for economic growth as well, pushing for industrial adaptation to technology, diversity, and sustainability. But the right be like, guys, let us embrace cultural heritage. Let's support policies that support long-standing in social structures and community values. They're like, man, regards traditional values as essential for societal cohesion. They value that. That's what the right wing is saying. They often see modernity as a threat to stability. Man, when it comes to economy, they favor economic policies that support industries tied to traditional roles and values. You know what I mean, man? They see modernization as potentially disruption or disruptive to social order. All right. Now, the question here next to me, man, that says, what do people look for when they're going to vote? So tonight we are diving into something that impacts each and every one of us, the art of choosing a government. Mhm. And no, it's not just about ticking the X next to the favorite person's face. It's about knowing what matters, what questions to ask, and how to pick leaders who shape our future. Let us get down with it, man. This is Upani Kantondo coming to you live from Bani Studios. What do people consider before they vote? Vote wisely. That's what we're on about today. We're all about voting wisely. Yes, man, I know it's like many months after we voted, but there is also elections coming up. And people, remember, as I said in the beginning, we are always voting. We are not only waiting for the national elections. There is always a way, there's always voting in our institutions that we find ourselves in or working in our communities. we find ourselves voting now and again in our clubs. We need to know how to vote, because this applies to anyone and everyone that will be seeing themselves or find themselves in a position whereby they will be needing people's votes. And you'll be finding yourself one of the people who will need to be voting for that particular leader. Therefore, you need to know how to choose a leader if you want to vote for them. All right. So, with that being said, let us look into it, my people. Let us look into it. What do people consider before they vote? They consider policies, candidate qualities, party ideology, they track the track record, the campaign and public engagement, voter accessibility. Those are the things that people look for when they want to consider who to vote for. Also, they do look at the things that I just touched right now, the left and the right ideologies. But let's start with the policies. But also the policies are derived from the values that we just talked about. All right. Policies that impact lives. Policies that impact lives. One of those policies, they have to impact economy, healthcare, education, and social issues. With environmental policies, we need to know all of those policies. You have to look at that before you do what? Before you choose who you vote for. What policies do they have concerning all of those? What makes them a good leader? Let us look at the quality of the individual that is being put or elected as a candidate to be voted for that particular category or that particular position. You need to look at their personality. Are they trustworthy? Are they experienced when it comes to what they are being elected for? Are they empathetic? Do they understand people? Do they understand where the people are coming from, the needs of the people? And they attached? Are they not away from where the people are? Voting for a council that doesn't stay in the ward that you're voting him for. There's a lot that you need to look at. But when it comes to trustworthy, do they mean what they say? I am going to create jobs. Do you trust this person enough that you are going to give them your vote because they are saying they're going to create jobs? Are they really going to create that? Have you ever experienced anything like that before? Are they ready to make tough calls? Do they understand the real struggles of the people that will give them votes? Mhm. Let us look at what we just talked about, the party ideology, which is shaping the vision. Are they left or are they right? Are they left or are they right? Is it a left wing or a right wing party? What values do they really prioritize? Those are the other things that we look at before we cast or we vote. Let us look at the left, which equals progressiveness, equality, and government involvement. These ones, they look at that equality, social support, and progress. Does this party value this? Does this party prioritize these values? Equality. Does it say everyone is equal? Women or men, they need to get equal jobs. Doesn't matter if the job requires physical capabilities such as power of lifting something. That is heavy. Even if it's a woman, they will have to do that. Even if the job requires nurturing, meaning that you have to take care or be a nanny, change nappies, take care of crying babies. Even if you are a man, you can do that job. That's what the left people are saying. Social support. No, basically, I'm saying people are equal, guys. They need equal opportunities. Doesn't matter if you are white or you are black. When you are getting hired, they will look at your qualifications. If you are getting a house, doesn't matter if you are black or white. If you do qualify for a certain loan, you need to get a loan. That's what it means, equality. That's what it means. People need to be treated equally. Doesn't matter at the job, if you are young or old, you are being treated equal. You are a manager or you are the janitor, doesn't matter. You need to be treated as a human being. That's what the left wing says when it comes to equality. Social support. People need to have sustainable life. They need to be supported by the government if they cannot support themselves. They need to be progress in life. We need to change. We cannot be stagnant and be stuck in the past. That's what the left is saying. Do you say the same? Therefore, you are aligned with the left. What does the right say? The right says, let us conserve the culture. Let us be traditional. Let us not change things. Let us do away with modernity. Let us remain working hard for what we need. Let us not be taxed. The government stay away from our pockets. Let's see what the right is saying. Freedom. They don't want the government to decide for them. Tradition. Let us stick to traditional ways. Limited government. The government must get away. That's what they are saying. You know, freedom is important. That's what people are talking about. We don't want the government to take part in all the decisions that we're making for our lives. Now, actions speak louder. What do these people do? Or what have they done before? The ones who are the candidates today, have they kept past promises? How did they handle these crises that they have faced before? Probably when they were still in the lower ranks in their parties, they were faced with crises. How did they handle these crises? Do they have history? If they don't, then they are not ready to be leaders. They have to have experience. Do they campaign? Do they engage themselves with the public? If they don't, then we won't be able to know them. We won't be able to know what they're all about. But they have to be there. They have to be there in the social media. They have to be there, out there in the community. Whenever there are problems in schools, whenever there are problems, whenever there's disaster, whenever there's hunger, they have to be there donating. They have to be there creating jobs, creating job opportunities. They have to be there, these people, influencing peers to start jobs, to do better for their lives. You know what I mean, man? It's a lot that we look at before we cast our votes, before we choose who we vote for. Making voting accessible. They also need to do this. They can't tell people come and vote for us, but you don't come and fetch them when it comes to the voting time. You must provide transport. You must make it a point that there are voting facilities close by. Voting, they can vote by mail, they can vote by in person, is access and convenience. Your voice, your vote, your power. With that being said, my people, I think that is going to be the end of it today. And I will see you tomorrow with another one. Another one, Mdara. Another one, Mdara. Another one. So, a vote for the future. There you have it. Before election day rolls around, remember to look at full picture, the policies, the character, the vision, the history, the engagement, and the access. It's your voice, your power. see in the tools.